Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's good to almost see you. I really do miss you guys so much, RockPile. Even just sitting here doing this live video update, there's always that sense, and it's one of the reasons why I like doing live videos is that there's almost that sense of interaction that you get when you do one of these videos because you hope that people are watching, you hope that people are watching on the other end, and right now we're obviously desperate for some of that socialization. And so I want to let you guys know that we really, really miss you guys. We miss doing services together. We miss seeing you face to face and being able to interact and high five and handshake and hug and all those things. And I'm sure many of you guys as well are missing much of that. So just love you so much. And I want to take a moment and just praise the Lord for in the midst of how crazy things have been with COVID-19 and with everything being shut down and with the quarantine, even in the craziness, God has been so good and he's been so faithful. And I don't think it's by accident that we had everything we needed to stream our services online, to be able to, in a sense, do service together. You guys watching from home and us being able to deliver the messages and do worship and all those things that have been made available to us. And so we praise God that even though it's never been a perfect system, I know that we all want to meet together, we all want to be together, but we have been able to be the church, to interact and be able to talk on social media and via texting. And there's been a lot of interaction in that way. And so we praise God for that. Now, I wanted to get on here and I wanted to do this live because, again, that is a little bit more interactive, but I ask you guys also to be gracious. With live videos, it's always an interesting time. But a lot of people have been asking me what RockPile's doing, especially in light of the governor's announcement this week. A lot of you guys saw at least the snapshot headline that basically says the governor is allowing churches to start meeting again. So of course my phone has been blowing up and Facebook and messages and from everywhere people asking, all right, we've been given the go ahead. And so are we going to start meeting again? Now I want you guys to know that we have been in deep prayer and discussion about what this looks like, about what we need to do to open the actual meeting together as RockPile back again. I don't want to say open the church again because you know what? The church never closed, right? God never stopped moving. The word never stopped being preached, and that still has not stopped and will not stop. But of course, we're praying about the timelines for when we get back together again on Sunday mornings, meeting in person. And so I want you guys to know that we have been in deep prayer and discussion about how to respond to everything that's going on. Now, a lot of you guys saw the announcement, but you may not have seen some of the actual details on the announcement that was made. Yes, the governor said that churches and some businesses can start meeting again. You probably saw with businesses, they can only get up to 25% capacity, and there's a lot of guidelines that they have to meet in order to be able to do that. Some businesses can't yet. For example, barbers, and I just want my barber to know I really miss you and really need you. And I'm already booked for like the end of May. And by then, I'm going to look like one of the Nelson twins. That's just the way it's going to be. But there's obviously a lot of hoops that you have to jump through. Church is no different. Now, I love that we have a government and we have a governor that is allowing churches to meet and encouraging that. But there's also many things they're asking churches to do. And so one of those, of course, is the spacing out. And so 6 feet between different family groups, spacing all the chairs out, basically keeping people separated. Even the parking is asked to be spaced out. Another thing they're asking people to do is the masks. So wearing masks, everybody at the service wearing masks all the time. And if you guys listened to any of the radio the other day from when we broadcasted out at the Bear King for the Highland Lakes Crisis Network food prep, I wore a mask for the first part of that. And then, of course, because I was so distanced off by myself, I finally took the mask off. But you can listen for like the first minute, you can barely hear me. It's just like this. That's what it's like trying to speak with a mask on. We have to check the temperature of everybody that comes in. And so we make sure that nobody has a temperature. If somebody does, of course, we have to turn them away. And then we have to sanitize everything, which of course is an extra challenge for us. You guys know we don't have our own building. We are blessed to do service together at the Boys and Girls Club, but that would also mean that we have to make sure that we go in and sanitize absolutely everything, especially our kids' meeting areas. And that's another big piece of this puzzle. Even a lot of the other pastors that I've been talking with, and I was able to go onto a meeting yesterday, a Zoom meeting with about 20 pastors from our area. I met with about 5 of my pastor friends from the area this morning, just talking about different options, what other churches are doing, looking at different plans. And right now, even the churches that are going to start meeting immediately are not generally doing a kids ministry. Most of them are not doing a kids ministry right now because of some of the fears of people sending kids off to large groups. For us, it's an extra challenge because we have to set all that up and we have to make sure it's clean, sanitized, ready to go. And so these are some of the obstacles that we have to trying to meet together on a Sunday morning in person at the Boys and Girls Club and to be just completely open. And so we've been looking at these different options. Do we just open up the doors and say, you know what, we're just going for it. We're just going to meet. We're going to try to meet all the requirements best we can. We're going to try to enforce masks, which would be very, very hard for us to enforce, check temperatures, space everybody out, pray about having enough room. We have to keep kids with us. Do we just stream forever? I've had people say, well, maybe this is the new normal and we're just going to do online church for the foreseeable future. And I've had a lot of people ask about the land. You guys know we've got the land over on 1431 in Mustang, and so we've really looked at that as being a possibility, maybe doing some outdoor services, but that creates its own challenge. For one, the big one, the city has asked us not to do services out there right now because we don't have the ability for parking. And so we have looked at some alternatives and try to find ways that we could find parking, and so we can make sure that we are abiding by the what the city has asked of us. But even then, there's no bathrooms. And there's no utilities out there. We don't have electrical run yet. We don't have water run yet. Everything we did out there would have to be generators. And so that's a possibility for the future for us to look at maybe even doing some things out there if we can find ways to accommodate some of those obstacles. But it's not really an option for us to do full services at right now. And so all that said, you might be going, okay, well, this is leading up. This is a lot of talk leading up to the big reveal, if you will. But for us, everything is very tentative. You guys know that even the announcement that the governor has made, even the decisions that right now all the churches and all the leaders and pastors are making and praying about, all these things have to be somewhat tentative. We don't really know what things are going to look like when stuff opens back up. We don't know whether the curve is going to continue, whether it's going to drop. We don't know. I've had people tell me this is overblown or we're not being careful enough. And certainly every church is going to face some scrutiny with, well, you didn't open up quick enough and therefore you lived in fear and you didn't have faith, or you opened up too quick and you didn't care about people and you didn't take care of people and you were more concerned about trying to meet than you were about the health of the people. These are the things that we are trying to cross right now. And we join churches across our community trying to make these same decisions. And so what we have decided to do with the staff and the board and through prayer, just seeking God's face, is rather than focus on dates, we're going to be focused on gates. So we're going to kind of open up different gates at different times based upon whether or not we feel we've got the go-ahead, whether or not things are progressing along as they should. And so I wanted to kind of lay out some of those things to you, some of what we're looking at so that you can be prepared and kind of know what's coming. This Sunday, we are going to stream as normal online. So everything will be online just like it has been for the last month and a half. And so we're going to be doing our service online. And so, again, join us for that. The following week, on May 10th, we will be online as well. But the difference is, and this is kind of the first gate, is we're going to allow and ask if you feel comfortable doing a watch party at your house. And you can meet some of those requirements to social distancing and be safe. And especially if you are not at risk and not one of those that are more susceptible to the COVID disease, then we ask that you, if you want to start meeting together at your homes, to do a watch party. That way we can kind of start congregating a little bit more. Some of our small groups may choose to do that. Some of our small groups may choose not to right now if they don't have the ability or just don't feel like it's the right time for that. And so this is a guilt-free option for people if you want to go join one of the watch parties that may be taking place. If you yourself, maybe you don't even have a small group, but you would like to host a watch party at your house. You want to invite people over, have coffee, watch the service together, then please let us know, or just invite a couple other families to come join you. Again, if you don't feel comfortable, then stay at your home and you can continue to watch online. So that is what we're going to do starting May 10th. It's just kind of one next step. And we're also at that point going to say if you are part of a small group, and if the small groups want to start meeting in person, then we encourage you to do that. Again, some of our small groups may be a little bit more hesitant. Some of them are doing the Zoom meetings, and they can continue doing that until maybe they feel like phase 2 is really in action with the state and feel like we've kind of gotten down the curve just a little bit more. Our next gate, if you will be opening up at the Boys and Girls Club, and that may come as early towards the end of May or even June that we're looking at that. We really want to watch the timelines. We don't want to rush this. And to be perfectly honest, I want to rush this, like many of you. I want to start meeting together. I am so tired of social distancing. I'm tired of being stuck at home. I'm tired of not seeing your faces. But we want to make sure that we do this right. Everything is temporary, just like we talked about this last Sunday, right? We know that there's joy on the other side of this, and maybe we need to wait that out a little bit. But we want to make sure that we do it right. So we are going to eventually move into the second gate, which is at the Boys and Girls Club with possible social distancing. So hopefully by that time we don't have to have the masks. Here's the benchmark for us. Kids ministry is a huge part of what we do. And so until we can safely do the kids ministry at RockPile, and we can feel like it's sanitized, and that it's going to be beneficial, and that parents will feel safe to give their kids over to the kids ministry. When we can do that, that will be the benchmark for us to start doing services together at the Boys and Girls Club. I've really enjoyed having our kids ministry involved in our streaming services, and with Rebecca be able to give us a lesson for the kids. We don't want to stop our kids ministry by then going to the Boys and Girls Club. So we want to keep that going. So it'll be seamless. When we go and start meeting together, we will have a kids ministry at that point. We need to know that we can do it safely and that we can shepherd well our people and make sure that we're not getting anybody sick. And so that'll be our second gate. Gate 3, of course, will be when we can just say, okay, we are fully meeting together. We don't have to have any social distancing. We can push everything back, and all the chairs can be next to each other, whatever that looks like. We don't know all these timelines. We don't know what the future holds. Only the Lord does. So what we're asking from you guys is engagement, patience, and prayer. So however we're doing church together, like we have been for the last month and a half, engage, make comments, share, talk to each other, reach out to each other. If you feel comfortable, May 10th, meeting together at someone's home for a watch party, then do so and share some pics and talk about what the Lord is doing with you. Even Pastor Jared was sharing, about Psalm 30 and his homework on piling rocks. Respond to those things and interact a little bit. You can respond to have the kids respond to Pastor Rebecca's lesson on the teaching from Sunday morning. Engage with what's going on so that we can remind ourselves and remember that we are still the church, whether we are at home or whether we are together at the Boys and Girls Club. Be patient. This is much longer than I would have wanted. You guys know when I first pushed back the RockPile 5-year party, which, by the way, we've got some exciting things planned for the party. We're pushed it back again. You guys probably saw on September 20th, and now what we're looking at. We don't want to keep having to push things back. I'm impatient. I want to be meeting together. But you know what? Whatever we look like after this, whatever the church looks like after this, I believe it's going to be so beautiful and so good. And it's beautiful even now. I've had some people tell me that they're actually really enjoying worshiping together at home in their pajamas on their couch. We won't get too used to it, but because we want to see you again. But we will always have the streaming option. We've made some advancements even through this that I think are going to be beneficial for the long run. We have picked up new people for RockPile through this time, people that have messaged us and said, I have started attending RockPile online, and I can't wait to meet with everybody when we start meeting together at the Boys and Girls Club. How cool is that? It's just neat. God has used this to reach people. And so be patient with those timelines. It's going to happen later than any of us want, simply because I would have wanted us to be open a month ago. But that's not what the Lord had for us, and that's okay. And be in prayer. You know, it's so easy for us to criticize and to look at and go, nah, we should have done this. It is. Just be in prayer. Be in prayer that God would speak. Pray for me. God, speak to me and the board and the staff and others. How do we do this? What does this look like? How do we know how to move forward? Pray for the other churches. You know, here's the thing. Some churches are already open. Some churches will open this Sunday, some churches. And we're going to pray that those churches are blessed and that God moves through our community. And different churches, I've talked to some of my pastor friends, said they're going to open up next week. Some that'll probably open up after us. That's all right. You know, we're going to do what God tells us to do. And we believe that God has, you know, different stages for different churches, but we're going to pray for them as well. We're going to pray that God will use this time to bring revival to this community. I'm excited for that, and I hope that you are as well. Either way, God's got great plans, and God's got great things lined out for us. So if you have any questions, please feel free. I can't really respond because of the setup I have right now. I can't see the comments that are popping up now, if any are. But please, you can comment on this, and I will try to respond to your comments or questions. You can message us on Facebook as well. I'm going to upload this video also to YouTube and to our website. And so if you have questions that you have later on, please feel free to email me, matt@rockpilechurch.com, and I will try to answer it. Sometimes those things go to spam. So if I don't respond to your email, then please call up at the offices, 830-201-4744. Let me know. That must mean I did not get your email, or else I will respond to it. Overall, God has been doing great work. The church is healthy. I want you guys to know that. I've had some of you guys asking me, you know, how's giving been and whether or not we're struggling. You know what? God has been so faithful, and you guys have been so faithful in continuing to give. And so we met as a board last night, did a online Zoom meeting with the board, and we kind of looked at the numbers just to make sure that we were in a healthy spot. God has blessed our church. He's continued to bless our church. Because of that, even during this time, this is so cool. I'm going to try not to tear up. During this time when we should be struggling, we're going to take and bless some others. We have had the ability, because of giving right now has been strong, we can go help others who need it. And so that's such a testament of God's faithfulness to take care of his church. And so we're even looking at other ministries and churches and families and stuff who may need help right now. And so we want to make sure that we continue to be a giving church and helping others. And so God has certainly taken care of us, and he's been so good. Well, I love you guys. I miss you. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to contact us. Reach out to me. Know that we're praying for you. We are in this together. I know sometimes it may not feel like that because we're all quarantined in our own homes. But I want to encourage you to continue not doing this alone. If you need someone to talk to, you need somebody to help. You need to see a face-to-face, and whether that's through FaceTime. I encourage you, make sure you reach out to us, because we want to make sure that you're not doing this alone. God is faithful, and we're going to be releasing more timelines as this goes. Pray that the curve will continue to drop, and so we can meet together earlier rather than later. We may make some changes along the way, depending upon how things go, but either way, it's going to be good. Love you guys. I miss you, and I hope that we can see each other again soon. You'll have a great, blessed day.